Imagine your packaging is so good that no one can resist clicking. I want that for you. So, together with Dorian, we've boiled down years of experience in thumbnails and titles into a 3-step formula. By the way, please take notes during this video because we're going way deeper than basic things like contrast or color theory. Packaging is so much more than that. We are not gonna start from scratch. The chances of you coming up with a viral thumbnail and title combo are close to none. What you need is to know where to look and how to adapt what's already working. Most beginners get caught up trying to reinvent the wheel, chasing a thumbnail style no one's ever seen before. The algorithm isn't broken, it's just not convinced your video is worth showing to millions of people. If you want to create thumbnails that naturally pull people in and feel like guaranteed clicks, start by studying what your audience is already engaging with in your niche. Then start looking at cousin niches. These are channels that speak to a similar type of audience but cover completely different topics. For example, if you're running a NFL channel, a smart move would be to find a basketball channel that's been gaining momentum in the last 30 days. Let me show you real quick how all this could actually look on YouTube. Let's have a look on this channel called Kickflix. Pretty decent channel with 1.4 million subs in the football or soccer niche. And when we scroll down and dig a little deeper, we find this interesting line of more channels belonging to this account. So that's interesting. I click on view all and we find Hoopflix, Fieldflix, Streamflix, Hitflix, Rapflix, Fightflix, Iceflix, and so on. So this now is very interesting. Let's have a closer look. Let's open Hoopflix, maybe also Fieldflix, to see what they have. So this is the Kickflix account. We go to popular videos and see what they have. For example, here Lionel Messi arrested in Paris is the thumbnail, and the title of the video is 10 things you didn't know about Lionel Messi, 9.3 million views. Let's hop over to Hoopflix, and second video we find here 10 things you didn't know about LeBron James, 8.8 million views. So it's a different niche, but the packaging is almost the same. Let's see if we can find another example. The most successful video of the Hoopflix channel is 10 most emotional NBA moments. If we go back to Kickflix, let's search for maybe a similar video packaged the same way. Here it is, 4.5 million views, emotional football moments. So I think this is a great example of what cousin niches are. And I think we could all see that all of this can be a huge springboard for getting hyper successful on YouTube, because it just makes so much sense to exploit synergies and take titles or thumbnails that have proven success. And then why not steal it and recreate it your way? Everyone steals like an artist. Every successful YouTube video was composed by taking winning ingredients and mixing them together into a new recipe. That being said, let's have a look at this. MrBeast's YouTube channel, and we find a very successful video here. It's called Train versus Giant Pit. Great thumbnail, 284 million views. So this is a sign for a great packaged video. Then if we type the title into the YouTube search bar, we find these videos, MrBeast, the one that we've just seen before, and this one, Trains vs. Giant Pit. So we can see where MrBeast got inspiration from. So that means even the biggest creator in the world, MrBeast, steals like an artist. As I said, he got inspiration from this video, which was posted 4 years ago, so 2 years before MrBeast actually made something out of it. He recreated it in his own way. He just saw that this has incredible potential, and we think this is even ethical, because these two videos don't appeal to the same audience because they are very different. It targets a completely different audience. So, are you starting to see the pattern? But just because something worked on YouTube doesn't mean it will work for you. It's incredibly important to ensure you're stealing from channels and niches that speak to that similar viewer profile. Extreme clickbait and bright colors like the Flix channels I showed before won't perform for serious documentaries or finance videos. I mean, it sounds so logical, but I remember a year or so ago when literally everyone thought they should just do MrBeast thumbnails. To ensure you don't make this mistake, always check off these 3 boxes. Ideate your story first, your packaging second. Ask yourself, do the 5 pillars of packaging from the format you are stealing transfer over to your story? Does your idea and story have the same level of relevance and viral potential? Well, for this question, let's have a quick look at this channel called Internet Anarchist. It's pretty famous, and let's have a look at all these videos. Yeah, there are many proven formats on here. He has done Live Ruin, The Great Downfall of Person X, Y, whatever. And let's imagine we want to make a video about the Hawk Tour girl. Who remembers her? Hawk Tour. Yeah. So this girl, and I'm pretty sure this channel has also done a video about her. Let's see. Yeah, the deserved end of the Hawk Tour girl 6 months ago. So please, I want to make sure that you understand it wouldn't make any sense to do this video now and to take this packaging and approach, because she is just not relevant anymore. So there wouldn't be any point. So please, before you do your research and go to these channels to find a great way of packaging, always take your idea and niche relevance into account when you steal like an artist. Because it's always your job to always be an absolute expert in your niche and topics. Okay, now you know how to ideate and validate your packaging concept, but that's only a third of the work. Now we need to actually bring it to life. Most creators spend hours on thumbnails struggling to learn color theory and compete with top creators backed by an entire team of full-time designers. Of course, you are not gonna hire a team that's incredibly expensive. You know what we are gonna use. Pikzels is able to streamline your entire thumbnail workflow from start to finish. So instead of wasting hours trying to design something from scratch or burning money on random freelancers who don't understand your vision, Pikzels gives you a systemized way to create high-performing thumbnails at scale. As a quick demonstration, let's go back to our initial example and ideate a video for the Streamflix channel where it's all about streamers, YouTubers, etc. So let's imagine I want to make a video about XQC, the famous streamer, very popular, and I did a bit of a research and I found this Pikzels packaged video from a channel Dorian used to own in the past, by the way. So we go here, we copy the link, go to Pikzels, hit recreate, paste the link, personas, and we find XQC down here in my personas, and then we make some edits. So we say change text to kick. So just as a side note for the ones who didn't know, famous streamer XQC had a massive over $100 million deal with the streaming platform Kick. So we let it look like he had the company's name tattooed on his tongue, just as an example, of course. We could also do something about his huge rivalry with Speed. So we would just put Speed on his tongue as we did with Messi and CR7. So let's see what the system got for us. Alright, here's our result. So let's use the comparison feature before and after. Everything was changed according to our editing kick on the tongue of XQC. And of course, you can do further edits. You can change the text, you can change the background, whatever you need for your packaging. And you can transfer your story to this way of packaging. If you want to test Pikzels for your own channel, I've put a link below so you can generate your first 20 thumbnails for free. Zero risk. Now, most importantly is of course the Pikzels score. Previously, you validated your concept. Now you need to validate your execution and make sure you didn't miss any mistakes or potential improvements. And let me be very clear about this point. When you steal like an artist, always make sure that you bring over what made that concept click. I'll give you a bad example because this really is very, very important for all creators to understand. Here we have the original packaging like CR7 on Messi's tongue. And if we scroll down a bit, we find this ripoff here with the word goat on Messi's tongue. So this is a proof that the creator did not understand what made people click, because it was the fact that the name on Messi's tongue was CR7. So it feels like there's a true story behind it. Whereas a goat tattoo on one of the greatest players of all time, yeah, it just feels kind of low and if there's no big story behind it. So again, you need to know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and this thumbnail and story transformation is a super bad execution and will most likely not go viral. Let's see. Yeah. 80 views 1 year ago. Instead of crossing your fingers and hoping your thumbnail performs, you'll know ahead of time if it has the right emotional pull, intrigue, clarity, and contrast before it ever goes live. And of course, you retain complete creative freedom. You can try anything and everything. Pikzels takes the guesswork out of packaging and handles the optimization side, so you can stay focused on what matters most in your videos. But if you think that's it, that most likely explains why you aren't getting the results you want. Although step 1 and 2 are crucial, the last part is the most crucial step of all. Most creators think they know what's good, but the platform doesn't care what you think, only the audience decides. The audience is what most people think is the algorithm, by the way. Every video on YouTube has the views their packaging deserves. You might love your thumbnail because you spend hours on it, but at the end of the day, if it doesn't perform, it's worthless. Thumbnails aren't graphic design, they aren't art. They are a performance tool. This is where data matters the most. You should always run your thumbnails through Pikzels before uploading to get it analyzed and make sure to A/B A/B test different versions to see which ones have a higher CTR. This way you aren't guessing, you are making decisions backed by real performance data instead of relying on assumptions. If you post a video, it underperforms and your first instinct is to delete it, don't. Spend time on what matters. Go back to step 1 and within 10 to 20 minutes you should have ideated and executed a new packaging concept. Now apply step 3. Again, see, it isn't actually that hard, but this is the true recipe to package so good that no one can resist clicking. But don't just take it from me. I want to show you some clips from Iman, who has 3 full-time designers repackaging every single one of his videos, not just once, but every week.
On the main channel, even if I didn't upload for a whole year, I guarantee I would still grow 500,000 subscribers minimum in a year, simply because every single day we're doing rehashes. We're going back to old videos, rehashing the title, rehashing the thumbnail, primarily the thumbnail, but doing these rehashes where we have videos from 3 years popping off again.
One thing he forgot to mention, in my opinion, is you need to give it time. If your video has been up for a while, give each new concept 7 to 14 days before swapping it again. Since we're already talking about swapping, changing and testing different packaging, we all need to understand that there is also always luck involved. So yeah, luck and time can be key. As we can see here, for example, the packaging of this video was changed pretty early. Day 2, day 8, and then yeah, didn't generate any views. And then slowly starting to pick up, but it still took almost half a year and then boom, it skyrocketed. And this is just an example on how long it can take for an effective packaging to blow up. Top creators test ruthlessly because they understand YouTube isn't about being right, it's about being clicked. Before, you had a valid excuse because you simply didn't have enough time or money to make as many thumbnails as the big guys. Now, it's only your laziness. If you want to try Pikzels for yourself and finally start packaging your videos in a way that makes people need to click the first link in the description. Now you've got the blueprint, you've got the system. So start focusing on what matters and 100x your views.